Welcome to the Huddle, our forum for sharing information and company news with you, our stakeholders, shareholders, partners, and friends. My name is Ann Graffis, and I am the Executive Vice President of Public Affairs for the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. And today it's my pleasure to have our President and CEO, Michael Crawford, with me to talk about a few things that are happening within our company that we feel is important to share with you, our shareholders. Mike, you've mentioned on our most recent earnings call the potential for a reverse stock split for the company. Can you elaborate a little bit more about where the company is in that decision-making process, and then in fact expand upon what that process might look like?
I think an important topic, and one that we continue to talk about not only within the company and our management team and with our board, but also publicly as a potential option for us to come back into compliance with NASDAQ listing rules. You know, over the last couple of months, we've had a lot of discussion and a lot of analysis about this reverse stock split possibility. We've watched our stock over the last several weeks, and in some instances it's trading above $1. We go 3 or 4 days, something happens from a macroeconomic environment point of view. There's a war raging on, there's still a global health pandemic, supply chain issues, any number of political issues that we're facing, the highest inflation in 4 decades. A lot of things that impact every company and every investor, not just Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. In doing so, I think we were hoping that compliance could be achieved organically, meaning we would trade above $1 for 10 consecutive trading days, and you have to close above $1 for 10 consecutive days. We've been in communication with NASDAQ. 10 is the minimum. Their goal, as is ours, is to make sure that we're successful as a company near, mid, and long term. I think our analysis has shown that while hope is a good thing to have, it's never a good strategy to try to deploy. And so for that reason, we do feel like executing a reverse stock split at this time and starting the process, as we'll need to start, is the right thing to do.
Talk about how a reverse stock split works, and then just in short order, what the process would look like for our company.
Let's assume today, simple math, you hold 100 shares of our stock. But let's say it's at 95 cents, which means 100 shares times 95 cents, you have X amount of value. If you did a reverse split, meaning for every 10 shares that you hold today, you get 1 share, now you have 10 shares of stock that's not 95 cents, it's $9.50 per share, okay? So the value of your holdings is the same. It's the number of shares that changes. And that's an important calculation because, you know, today we have over 100 million shares of stock that can be traded. A great percentage of that is held by a few senior shareholders, and they haven't traded at all. And they've continued to not only hold their stock, but invest more into the company, showing their confidence. Some shareholders will say, the value of my shares have gone down. Not the case. Now, if the market goes down and our stock price goes down, of course, that can be the case. But we're not reverse splitting to decrease someone's value, mine included. I have personally invested, a lot of money in our stock. I've deferred compensation as well and invested that into our stock. Why? Because I see the potential for growth in this company from my seat far out exceeding where the stock price is trading today. And I see that post the execution of this split, we have the ability to really continue to grow and propel the company's stock price to a whole new level. So that's kind of the steps and the math and how it works.
So talk a little bit about that research and the work that's been done by the internal team to evaluate and assess why, in fact, you feel this is best for the company right now.
Yeah, this is a very big decision in the company's life cycle. We have to make sure we're getting it right. There's a lot of analysis on the financial side, so talking with multiple investment banking firms. From a legal point of view, making sure that we're executing it the right way on behalf of our shareholders. Certainly from an academic and a best practices point of view, we've gone back and looked at multiple companies that sort of fit the profile of a company like we are. You then meet with your board. You have a lot of discussion at a board level about what actions that you should or could take. We've continued to make available publicly that a reverse stock split is something that we could pursue. as one of the 4 options that we've listed in terms of coming back into compliance. And then after you make the decision, there is a series of steps that you have to publicly notify everyone that this is your intention. You have to file with the SEC. You have to have a special shareholder meeting, which we intend to do and call. You have a vote. You make sure the shareholders are supportive of the action. And then you decide what ratio you're going to split at. And you decide that at the point in time that you're going to make the final decision with the board and approve the final action to be taken. And that's after the shareholders have voted to authorize us to take that action. Our job as leaders and as the management team and as the board of the company is to ensure we're making the right decision at the right time that is going to benefit our shareholders. We cannot take the risk of being delisted. That to us is not an option. And again, hope not being a strategy, you either trade above that 10-day threshold or you don't. You have 180 days. We've been on the clock for 3 or 4 months now. The process itself takes time. So it's a month to 2-month process that we have to go through. We can talk about that as well. But we want to make sure that backing up from the 180 days, we can get into compliance to ensure the longevity of our company, and most importantly, to ensure that we have access to the liquidity markets and that our shareholders have the flexibility to trade.
So talk a little bit more about where the company is. Where is Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company as it relates to their life cycle, their business cycle?
We were and are doing an incredible job at executing the strategy that we articulated for those shareholders that invested in us 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now. You see assets being stood up and running, and you see revenue growing quarter over quarter and year over year. You see new sponsors coming in. You see lending coming in. You see gaming environments starting to stand up, and you see sports betting being legalized and our applications for that. Our second season for our Hall of Fantasy League, making that even better than the first season. Media. The execution from our media team is really starting to take hold. That's a 3-year life cycle typically, where you're in ideation and product development and production and then distribution. We've already had things go through distribution. So I feel like the life cycle is one where we're still very much investing in everything we do. We're standing up new assets, both literally and in virtual environments. And it's one that as we start to grow and those things start to synergize with one another, you're going to see the company have endless possibilities to grow revenue, to grow shareholder value. So we've got to make the decision based on where we're at and based on the requirements we're facing.
Well, transparency has always been mission critical for you as CEO, for us as a company. Our mantra internally is we do what we say we're going to do. What high level do you want to leave folks with today about this situation, as well as where the company's headed?
We're in this together. I have great confidence that this is the right step at the right time for our company. We cannot hold out hope in an environment like we're living in that we will become compliant. We've got to take action, and that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about understanding, processing information, and taking the right steps to ensure success. I think we're doing that. I think the team is executing. The team is committed. Everyone is all in to making sure that what we do will add value to this company for a very long time, both now and for many, many years in the future. And I would end by saying, we're going to be judged on how we continue to grow and perform as a company. The stock price 6 months from now, a year from now, I think as the markets evolve, as hopefully some of this inflationary environment starts to recede, as some of the supply chain issues get resolved, I think confidence comes back. And when people see what we're doing and see what we've had to do, probably in the most difficult environment imaginable, they're going to have great confidence that our stock is worth investing in. Institutional investors, other investors from a retail point of view, and specifically our management team and our board have continued to demonstrate that confidence. I think it's going to be success, and I think it's going to be very long term. I think we are going to be positioned really well to show growth and to show execution. And I think the shareholders that stay with us and new shareholders that come in will be investing in that. and the confidence that they have in us as a team and as a company to perform.
Thank you, Mike, for the
Thank
time
you.
today and for sharing the information. Thank you for joining us for this edition of The Huddle. For more company news and information, please visit our website at hofreco.com. I'm Ann Graffis, and this is The Huddle.